You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Jen, and we are two boss babes sharing our journey and inspiring you along the way.
Today is a little bit different.
Today we are going to be just chatting. We have seen each other recently, but it's been a different setting. We've had some amazing guest speakers on the podcast recently, so we wanted today's episode to really just dive into our life and what we've been up to and business updates and
reconnect with each other because we haven't been able to chat. We've had the guests on yesterday. We were at a styled shoot together, but we're working. We've been go and
we are in the thick of the start of busy season, and that alone takes a toll on you. And it's really, we're so excited that we are able to be back in a busy season, but with busy season comes a big adjustment of life.
Oh, yeah.
Because during slow season, we were itching to get back into it. And then you all of a sudden just are back into it. And you're like, wait a minute, I need to recompress. And anyway, let's just start. Let's talk about what you've been up to and kind of your past week. Let's talk about the past week.
I don't even know where to start. I'm not even sure where my busy season really started. I guess my first wedding was in February, and then the second wedding for my own business was in late April. And so typically I'm very good about getting galleries out right away, in a realistic time frame. But right now I'm hitting my deadline, it's due this weekend, and I'm and it's basically ready to go. I just have to do some final touches on some things, but I haven't had the opportunity to actually work from home and sit down because the past 5 days straight I've been out shooting every day, and then those pile up and my editing list has just doubled in the past couple of days, and I'm oh my god, what's going on?
So at what point do you feel the anxiety starts to kick in because you have a lot on your plate? How many galleries is too much for your plate right now?
The anxiety is kicking in. But I honestly do feel okay because I know that I have today after you go and tomorrow to work on things. And like I said, those couple of galleries that I have that are due to get out are almost ready to get out. So
how many do you have on your timeline right now?
I have 8.
That's a lot.
I have 7 sessions and 1 wedding.
Okay.
And so the wedding is just about ready to go, but I'm also doing the video for that, so the video's not quite ready to go yet. But I think she was kind of expecting that. It's not a polished video. She just had me do clips of the day. I think she's probably going to splice something together herself. But yeah, it just doubled, tripled in a matter of days. So the past couple of days, maybe we start with that rainy Saturday that we had this past weekend. Just this past weekend has been nuts.
Yeah. So right now, I don't know when everyone's listening, but right now it is May 24th when we're 24th when we are shooting this episode. And last weekend was a complete washout. So anyone who had events in Connecticut will remember this weekend because it was. I don't really watch the news anymore. I try just to stay in my lane. My husband watches the news, follows everything. So he kept saying, we're getting a lot of rain this weekend. And I was oh, bummer. I have a 175 person event on Saturday. And we had been planning this for so long. And they had 5 food trucks. They had me. Yeah. They had, it was for a middle school and high school private school. And it was their gala for the year. So it was a fundraiser for the school. And they had planned it for so long. The high school was going to do a huge band performance. So they were going to be up on a stage, and it was all outside under a tent. So when you get rain like that, the ground alone is just hard to walk on, let alone having trucks, and you have to walk up to the trucks and all this. So Saturday, everything was prepped for on my end. Everything was ready. And I get a text from my client who also was a high school friend. So it makes it even more challenging because it's someone that I actually personally know too. So as a business, you treat your clients like your friends no matter what, but it's even crazier when it is an actual friend. And she sends me a text message at, I want to say it was 1:00, and I had to be at the event by 3. 1:00, she texted me. She goes, we made the decision to cancel the event.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
that's not a lot of time for you.
No, that's 2 hours. I was already fully prepped. The trailer was packed. My car was packed. I actually was proactive because it was my first big event of the season. And so I was ready to go, because also I also packed everything the night before because I knew it was going to rain.
Yep.
So like everything was like ready to go. And also I'm a very last minute person. So for that to actually be happening was even like stranger.
Applause.
Yeah. So lo and behold, she canceled. Now in my contract, we have the deposit is non-refundable. She had paid everything at that point. I had prepped everything at that point. So we actually haven't circled back yet. It's only been a few days since the event canceled, but this is the crazy thing about this business. Like things like this happen. And I literally had fresh ingredients in my fridge for 175 people. So I can't freeze any of that.
Well, that's what the non-refundable is all about, because you've spent that money on perishable items.
Yep.
Like you're going to have to start all over once they reschedule.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, that sucks.
But it's crazy because, you know, her reasoning for canceling was the safety comes first for the students, the parents, their staff, everything, which is totally understandable. So it's going to be a really interesting conversation, you know, when we move forward and when we do reschedule, because she had 5 food trucks. How are all 6 of these vendors going to be available on the same date in our busy season? Like, it's probably not going to happen. So I'm very curious to see like how that pans out. But, you know, these are the challenges that you come across in this business. Like, you are going to have situations like this when it rains. And, you know, we have a policy in our contract that says like, rain or shine, we're coming. So if you make the decision to cancel, you know, there's going to be other obstacles that we have to kind of.
So rain or shine, you're coming. Can you explain what it's like on a rainy day?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's a challenge. We do pop-ups. The fun thing about our business is we can actually pull right up to a tent. So we have a window that opens to go into, you know, to come up to the bar. So there's like almost like a awning that's attached to the trailer. So it's really nice because most of our tents, we'll be able to pull right up to the tent, as long as you don't have like, you know how tents have those posts that come out for the most part? That's a little bit of a challenge because I have to pull the trailer up to that as close as I can.
Yeah.
So what I have done in the past is I'll put it easy up, and I have to get a white one because, you know, for right now I have a blue one. So for weddings, I have a beautiful white tent. You don't want a blue pop-up attached to it.
Speaking of which, I just saw one at Walmart the other day. Just walking past, it was like the normal pop-up.
Yeah, but the white. Yep. I had to go grab it. Okay. Noted. Maybe I should go get it today before they sell out. But they're expensive too. Yeah. It's like, see, these are things that you have to add to your budget as a business owner.
Yep. And then you're going to have to replace the white more often than the blue because it'll get dirty.
And if it's raining, you have to let it air out after because we're campers. You know about the whole tent situation. If you do not let your tent air out and dry after you come home, if it was wet camping, even the dew from a camping.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, so we do a pop-up in front and we actually do a pop-up behind us because all of our stuff in coolers and things like that, you know, will get wet. But for the most part, we've had events, we've had weddings in the rain, and you make the best of it.
Have you gotten stuck before with rain?
Like the trailer stuck before?
Yeah, like you can't drive because you're just making mud.
Oh my God, you're going to hear a crazy story right now.
Okay. This is what this episode is all about. Yeah. I'm excited. This is like a slumber party.
It is like if you're not listening to us or watching us live on YouTube, we're like cuddled on the couch right now.
I'm in my sweats. You're in like a nice like summer outfit. You look like ready to go on a date.
Yeah, Megan sent me a text and she goes, I just want to know, I won't be mad if you're late this morning because she knows that I'm usually always late. The one day I'm actually on time.
I know.
But I stalled a little bit to give you more time. But she's like, and I'm going to be in sweatpants. We're going to talk about the shoot we had yesterday. But I'm like, I didn't even tell her that I was coming in this like beautiful like maxi dress. But it was just easier to throw on than leggings today, to be honest.
Yeah.
But okay, so horror story. I had an event in, oh my God, it was in Weston. Easton or Weston, one of the two towns. On her farm, and it was a charity event for, I forget what the exact event was for, but I will never forget this event. So when I first started this business, we had to buy a truck for the business, and trucks are very expensive. I thought when I first started, I was going to borrow trucks from my family because I thought I was going to have one event per weekend and I would borrow it from my stepdad or my grandfather, or, you know, we would just borrow the truck.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah, we would figure it out. Lo and behold, 55 events in our first season. I could not borrow a truck 55 times. So we had to buy a truck. So we did buy a very used truck because that's all we could afford at the time. And it was not the most reliable. We had to get it serviced twice in our first like few months that we had it. And it was nerve-wracking because 2 days before this event. Now, also, this was in October, and I had 2 events left in the season.
So close.
So close. I was so close. And I kept saying, like, I just need this truck to get us through our first season. It's all I needed. And it was a great truck. Like, we ended up selling it. We had to get it fixed, but it was a great truck. And I'm telling the story because it may look like we have a beautiful truck right now, which we do. We have an awesome, it's not brand new, but it's a 2016. It's a gorgeous truck. But we didn't start with this. It took a while to get to there.
Right.
So if you're starting your business and you're like, I have a shit truck, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you have...
You're seeing all, like, the seasoned professionals
Yeah.
that are 4 years into their business and they have all the fancy equipment. Like, we did not start that way.
No. So I get to the event, or I'm sorry, the day before, the truck started, like, really weird. It was like the stalled start. And I was like, this is really weird. What's happening? So I called my husband, and he's like, it could be a lot of different things. And I was lucky that I knew the event was going to be not too far from my house. So
that's true.
I get to the event, and she had mentioned that the event was on a hill. Like, her backyard was on a hill. The farm was on a hill. So I was like, okay, like, we do hills. Like, it's fine. I was like, we'll just park, like, somewhere where it's not too hilly. Because also, this actually happened at the shoot yesterday that we were at. I was on a little bit of a slant.
It wasn't even noticeable until I got in the trailer. And I was like, whoa.
And it didn't feel like a hill when you got in, like, anyway.
But when you're mixing drinks and you're putting it on a flat counter that's not flat, you can't fill them up to the top.
No. Some of the drinks we were making, we're kind of going off topic quickly, but some of the drinks I was making yesterday were, like, on a slant, and, like, I needed them to be perfectly flat for the shoot. And, like, anyway. So, lo and behold, I get to the event. It was a hill like I've never seen. Like, when you, like, walk down a hill and you have to, like, lean back a little bit to get down, like, that's how her backyard was.
That is steep.
So she was like, why don't you park at the bottom of the hill? That way you'll be more on, like, a flatter surface. And I was like, okay, fine, that's great. So truck started that morning. Okay. It sounded a little weird, but I was like, whatever, we're going to get to the event. So I get to the event. We make it there. I didn't take the trailer off of the truck because I was on such a slant that I just, like, was nervous that the, like, chalk blocks under the tire. I just didn't feel comfortable. So she was fine with me because usually I take it off of the trailer.
Well, it sounds like it would on a hill like that, it'd probably be much harder to hitch it back on.
Yes. Yep, that too. And so anyway.
Ooh.
And I feel like I need to, like, I wish I, like, could show you what the setup looked like for this event, because the way that I parked, my truck was between a fence and the trailer. Like, just keep that in mind when I tell you this. So we go through the event. I turn my truck off. The truck is off during the event, obviously.
Of course.
So event goes great. It was amazing. And we clean up. We're ready to go. I go to start my truck. The truck does not even start at all. And I'm like, I thought the battery died. Mm-hmm. So my second bartender actually had a battery, like, charger in her truck, in her Jeep, which was so random, but meant to be. So she comes, she brings it over. The battery was not dead. The starter died of the truck. So I'm at my client's house, this beautiful farm. Now the event was also still going on because it was like people were just lingering, like friends were still there and things like that. So I had to call AAA to come tow my truck out of my client's backyard. I can't even tell you, again, remember, we're on a crazy hill. I also forgot to remind you, it had just rained for 2 days prior to this. So the entire yard was completely, like, not mud, but to the point where, like...
It wasn't helping.
It wasn't helping.
Wait, so AAA was going to tow you, or they were going to fix the starter?
No, they were going to tow me, because they can't fix it at that point.
So they were going to... But you're attached. So they were going to tow your truck and trailer?
No. So
what?
We had to... Oh my God. This is, like, the craziest story. Like, what a crazy, crazy thing. So AAA gets there. They unhitch my truck, put it in neutral, push it a little bit, but you couldn't push it too far because there was a fence there. Because I parked between the fence and... horrible parking job on my end, also noted.
Well, it sounds like you didn't have a lot of other options.
I didn't know my truck wasn't going to start. So AAA gets the truck off of the trailer, moves it a little bit so he could, like, chain it to, like, back it up a little bit, push it forward again. We had to, like, basically turn the truck off the trailer to get it to where AAA could get it on. Okay, so now I'm going to fast forward a little bit longer. The AAA truck gets stuck in the yard on the hill and can't get out.
No.
Can't get out. So again, I have videos of this. If you go to my Instagram and like go back further, you'll see the archives of this crazy experience. So lo and behold, I had to go get my stepfather's truck, come back, and which I had to get anyway because I had to take the trailer home that night.
Right.
I had to tow the AAA truck with my truck. I'm not even kidding.
Wait, AAA they weren't like, let me call another buddy?
No. He was trying all these things. We tore up my client's yard also.
Oh.
I was mortified. She was like, it's fine, it's grass, it will grow back. Like, it's fine. Thank God she was such a nice human. So also at the end of all of this, so we got the truck out. I was also freaking out that I now wasn't going to be able to get the trailer out because it was all like mud at this point too. So we get out everything. This is like 4 hours in the making also. Thankfully, it was a morning event. Because imagine if this was an evening event. We were doing this at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that would have been awful.
Lo and behold, I'm leaving. I go to say thank you to the AAA guy because he has to now tow my truck to a gas station to get it fixed. He hits on me. I'm not even kidding. He asked me for my number. I'm like, I have a husband and 2 kids at home, but thank you because you probably think I'm a badass because I just towed you out of...
That's probably why. It's probably, wow.
He's like, this badass girl just drove a truck, towed me. It was the craziest situation.
Oh,
so
that's the icing on the cake on the story.
I had to share that. So just know there's going to be challenges in every part of your business. You might have to tow a AAA truck out. And anyway, my client was like, you're a badass. I'm mortified because this whole thing is happening. Yeah. So anyway, we now have a new truck. We were able to pay for a new truck. And thank God. But you know what? It's a laugh at the end of the day. So yes, I have gotten stuck before. I've also gotten hit on by AAA.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah. Crazy story.
Wow. Well, my rainy Saturday was nothing like that. I guess that wasn't this past Saturday for you, but this past Saturday, I was supposed to have 2 sessions. I was supposed to have a surprise proposal, which I've never photographed a proposal before, so I was really excited for it. And then that evening, I was supposed to have an engagement session. And I set rain dates for every session, just on the off chance, because we live where we live. Mm-hmm. And photography is not like a rain or shine kind of thing, unless that's the vibe, but typically no. So the second session, I had the rain date set. This session has been planned for months since they booked me last year. And so that was a piece of cake. It was like, okay, we'll check on the rain. We'll make the decision that morning. And if not, we'll do the rain date. Well, the proposal that I had that was supposed to be my first session, he booked kind of recently. And so it was close enough where we were like, it should be fine. We'll play it by ear kind of thing. And it was like thunderstorms, and we were going to do it at
beyond
the beach.
Thunderstorms. It was like torrential downpour.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
Yeah. And where I was going to be going, I was going to be going to the beach for the session, and then for the afternoon session, go all the way up to Hartford. So I was like checking weather patterns for like all over the state, because I'm in like the middle of the state, and then I'm going like all the way down to the coast, all the way like up to Hartford. So I was like, I have to like check the weather, not even where I'm living, but like all around.
Not to interrupt you, but did you know that you were going to be a weather woman on top of a photographer?
Really though? Like, I'm always checking the weather patterns, the sunset times, the temperatures. Like, yeah, no.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, keep going.
I am like a weather expert. Not to flex, but it got rained out. Long story short, it got rained out, and we didn't have a rain date set. But it's a proposal. Like, it's not something that we can be like, oh, yeah, let's do it in 2 weeks when I'm available. Like, I don't have a
He's got the ring. He's, like, ready to go.
Right. And he was like, is there another location we can do that you can think of? And I'm like, where would we go? Like, I don't know. We can go to a museum. Mm. We could do a studio, but the cover for the session was that it was going to be like a Mother's Day gift. They have like a 1-year-old, or like it's like 8 months or something like that. So sorry.
little baby.
He was adorable. But the cover was that it was going to be like a mommy and me, like, family session, and then he was going to propose. But, like, family sessions, like, you're, like, I don't know, it could be in a studio, I guess, but, like, that's not, I don't know, like, if it was, like, just a couple, I would have been like, okay, maybe, like, a rainy coffee shop could be cute, a bookstore could be cute, like, I have other ideas, but for a family session, I was like, I can't really think of anything that makes sense, and he was like, no, I really want to do it at the beach, and I was like, okay, so, he was like, do you have any availability tomorrow? At a weekend, you know, and so I was supposed to be second shooting a wedding, and I was like, I mean, I have a wedding, but let me double check, because I was only second shooting, so I was like, maybe I can. I don't know, maybe if we do it early enough in the morning. So I checked in with the lead shooter, and she was like, oh, it's only 4 hours of coverage, let me double check the time, and it ended up, I only needed to be there at like 3 o'clock.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, we can shoot at 11, I'll have just enough time to run home, change, and then drive an hour and a half to the venue, because I live in the woods. And we had the session. She said yes.
Yay! I was waiting for that.
Yeah, but I was so nervous. I've never shot a proposal before, but as the photographer, like, I had to, like, initiate the proposal.
Did you, like, give him the wink? Like,
basically. Yeah, we had a
because you couldn't say anything.
I know. I can't be like, are you ready? Like, I can't say that.
No.
So it was like I felt like a lot of pressure. Like, there's a lot of pressure to get, like, the first kiss at a wedding, but this was even more so, because, like, I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Also, you need to check out Megan's Instagram, because you posted a video, or no, I don't know if it was on your stories, but her face.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You got it. You captured it.
It came out.
It
did come out really well. Thank you. She was so happy, and it did turn out really, really well. And it was so funny, after she said yes, she was like, I knew this was going to happen today. She was like, I already made a TikTok about it this morning. I did, like, a get ready with me to go get proposed to.
No, she knew.
Yeah, she knew.
Oh my God.
But she was still, like, surprised,
Yeah.
you know, because she's like, maybe I'm going to get engaged. I don't know. And then when it actually happens, it's, I'm sure, very different than what you're expecting.
Yes.
And she wasn't expecting it to happen the way that it happened. I had him facing the water with his son, and then I was like, okay, look at him, and then look over your shoulder at me. And then I was like, okay, we're going to do the same thing with you. And so I had them switch places, so that she was holding him and looking out the water, but she wasn't really thinking much of it, because he had gone first.
Yep.
And she, like, saw that there was nothing to it, you know? And then when she looked over her shoulder back at me, he was on one knee.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it was really nice. And the challenge for this session, regardless of the rain and rushing to get back home, was that I broke one of my lenses the day before. And it is my favorite lens, my absolutely favorite lens, like, hands down. And I use it all the time. And for a session like this, where I want to be far enough away where I'm not in their business, but can also get up close and do, like, the nice ring details, it's the perfect lens for that kind of scenario. It zooms, so I can get, like, wide, and when she'd be getting proposed to, I could do, like, really quickly a wide angle of him on one knee, and then get a really tight reaction of her face in, like, 2 seconds. But that lens broke. Here's the story. It was in my backpack. All my, you know, camera stuff was in my backpack from the last time I was shooting a couple of days before. And I always leave my camera backpack on the floor after I shoot. Like, I take it off my back and I'm just like, ugh. And I leave it flat on the ground. And then I, like, start charging my batteries, take my SD card out, and I guess I forgot to zip it back up. And when I went to go pick it up back up, everything fell out and it went, like, crash. And my bodies, like, went all over the place. I had, like, batteries everywhere. And the first thing I saw was just glass on the ground, like, glass shards everywhere. And I had no words. I was just staring at the ground, like, okay, that just happened. It's like, great. And slowly picked up my camera, and the lens was, like, shattered. And I was like, this is great. and then realized that's my UV filter. I have a protective filter over all my lenses for instances like this, or just scratches, bumps, whatever. And so I screwed that off, and my lens looked perfectly fine. And I was like, oh, thank God. And I put it back in my backpack, didn't even test it out. And then I was packing my bag for the session, for the proposal, and put the lens on my camera. Was going to take a couple test shots just before I was leaving. And it just wasn't working. It, like, did this really weird, like, noise and was, like just kind of, like, pulsing. Like, you can spin the lens around and look at, like, the iris of it, like it's an eye, and it looks like it's blinking, but I'm not taking any pictures.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so it's one of my favorite lenses. I use it all day at weddings. Like, pretty much all day. It's great for receptions.
And you only have one of those,
I only have one. I have one.
Yeah.
But it has lasted me 2 years.
Okay.
Since I started my business. It was, like, one of the first lenses that I got. But, you know, that's $2,500.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I do have insurance on it, so I haven't contacted my insurance people yet. But I don't really have time to go and repair it because I have a wedding this weekend that I need it for. And there's different ways around it. So, again, like, I was shooting a wedding that night. And I was like, well, gonna have to make do with something else. Yeah. So I have an 85 and a 35, which are prime lenses, so they don't zoom, and it's, like, stuck at that focal point. You have to move your body to to get the shot that you want.
Versus the camera. Okay.
Versus the zoom one, I can stand in one spot and get everything I need.
Yep.
So it's convenient that way, but, you know, doable with the other two lenses. So I would have to switch them out, though. So instead of doing that, I used two camera bodies, because I have two camera bodies. So I had one lens on one and one on the other. But that's also really obnoxious for the lead shooter, because, you know, they give you a card to shoot on and they take it home. And instead we had to back it up at dinner, and I had to give her one card, and we backed that up, and then I had to give her a second card and then back that up. And it was just, like, a pain in the butt because I was using two different pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
And at the end of the night, you know, it did turn out fine, and everything worked out, and I was able to make do with what I had. And I think as a photographer, as a business owner, you have to be able to do that, you know, think on your feet and be like, something's not working, what am I going to do instead? And just forget about the problem and, you know, let it go that my lens is broken, let it go, it doesn't matter anymore. What am I going to do instead to do what I have to do? And that was my plan B. And it did go well.
Yeah.
And she was happy with the photos, but...
Oh, yay. And I think that, like, we talked about this on a prior episode, you have to have a backup plan, and it's not always going to go perfect. And we always talk about, like, at events, nobody sees the back end of what we really go through, and that's our job to make sure that that happens. It's our job to make sure that the client doesn't know your lens broke, and doesn't know that you were stressed out to the max prior to that, and wondering how you were going to get the shots that you wanted to get, but you got them, and she doesn't care that all that stuff happened.
Like, I didn't walk into the proposal and go like, oh, woe is me. Like, it's about them. It's who cares about me?
Yep. And that's the professionalism that you have to continue to have, because if you were to go into that shoot and be like, listen, my lens broke, I'm probably not going to get the pictures I really wanted to get, they're going to be like, what do you mean? Like, that's not what I hired you for. Like, I hired you to get pictures of me.
You have to be confident even if you're not feeling it.
Exactly. Like, there's been times where I've forgotten certain things. I think I talked about this, but one time I forgot my shakers. I'm a bartender. Like, that's literally the one thing that we really need. But I just use cups. Like, and it made the drinks the same way.
I mean, I feel like that's with a lot of things in life. Like, you gotta boil water. How are you gonna boil the water? You boil it on the stove, boil it on a fire if you don't have XYZ. Like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if that's, like, dumb to say. I feel like that's very obvious, but, like, sometimes I feel like people think very structured.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I don't have this, so I can't do this, this, or this. Like, if the power goes out, like, I live in the woods, power goes out, like, all the time, especially in the winter. So, like, if the power goes out, I sometimes feel like, oh, I can't live my life right now. It's like, yes, you can. Read a book.
Yep.
You can brush your teeth with a cup of water. Like, what do you mean you can't do this, this? Like, you literally can.
I think COVID honestly taught me a lot of that. It's like, the world literally shut down and we still survived. All right, do you have events this weekend?
I do have events this weekend. I have a wedding. This is Memorial Day weekend for our listeners listening to this in probably June. I have one wedding in New Hampshire, and it's my cousin's wedding, and she's the first in my family to get married that's, like, my generation. So She's older than me though, but
wait, where in New Hampshire? I'm going to New Hampshire this weekend too.
Really?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Sorry, not to interrupt you. I do that a lot. Sorry.
No.
I don't have events this weekend. This was my one weekend per month that I took off.
Yeah.
We're in Marlow, so we're not far from Keene.
I don't know where Keene is.
So
is Keene southern?
I guess it would be southern.
I'm going to Lincoln. I'm going to Loon Mountain. It's a ski mountain.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, she's getting married on top of the mountain. We're riding the gondola up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm going as a guest, and I have associates covering the wedding for me because, she's my cousin, and I mean, she did not have to book me. She could have booked like any other photographer.
Wait,
and I
so are you bringing your camera?
Yes. And I'll explain.
Okay.
So she was like, I'd rather work with you because you're family, and like it's gonna be so much easier, stress-free for me to have to worry about a vendor, because she's like, I know you're gonna do a good job. I trust you. I could call you anytime. I could tell you the real stuff, what I really need, and I don't have to worry about like meeting a new person. Because planning a wedding is intense, and especially you got married in New Hampshire, didn't you?
Yeah.
Destination wedding.
We
not
actually
knowing
did
anybody.
a chairlift too. So
really?
This is so fun. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to share some pictures that you have to make sure that she gets, because there's we'll side note.
I've seen the pictures that I think you did your first look on.
We did. Yeah, we did the first look up there. Yeah. But one thing, so I'm sure you could edit it out, but they put a white towel underneath me. Oh, you're going on gondola, right? Not a chairlift?
Not a chairlift. No, it's like the enclosed.
Oh, okay.
Like the door. There's like a door.
Got it.
Like all windows.
Oh, you got to get it going into the gondola.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I know. I'm so excited to see all of the footage and pictures and everything. So we're doing photo and video for her, just because she couldn't find anybody out there to do video solo. Mm-hmm. She could only find photo video packages, and she had already booked me with photography. And I was like, well, I'm starting to offer it. So, I mean, if it's something that's like not a huge priority to you, and it's not going to be anything like cinematic, but like at the end of the day, your ceremony will be documented. Your speeches will be documented. And the photographers that I have associate shooting for me, they've helped me out with one wedding video, but we've met twice to go over all of my equipment, and they're gonna use all of my stuff. And so the night before, I'm gonna give them my backpacks, like so much stuff, and walk them through stuff one last time, and then they can play with it that night if they want to. And then I have a list for them of like what to use at what point in time, and just like a master list of the day, the timeline.
So this is going to be your first time not shooting.
I've never been to a wedding as a guest. Never.
Oh my god.
And I'm very excited for that, but also she's the first in my family to get married, so I'm excited to like experience
so many things happening this weekend.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
So then you'll edit all the photos.
Yes. Okay. So I have 2 associate shooters and 2 associate videographers.
So there's 4 people coming?
Team of 4. Mm-hmm. Team of 4. 2 photographers, 2 videographers, and the photographers are using their own equipment. They're easy. They know what's going on. She's done it a million times, and not for me, but and then Abby and Jess are doing the video for me. And so it's kind of new to them, but like they know how to use my stuff, and Jess has watched me shoot before. So they're going to be good, and it's going to be the only focus that they have. They're not touching photography at all. So their 100% focus is going to be on the video, and there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried.
No.
They're going to be great. And you have the same eye as a videographer that you do as a photographer. And I know that they have that. So I'm not worried. But yeah, I'm not shooting it. I'm editing it. The video, the photos, everything. So she's booking me as if I am the one shooting it. Mm-hmm. So she gets all the inclusions in my package and everything. She had an engagement session with me, all the good stuff. And then, she gets the same like album and everything that everybody else does. I'm just not the one shooting it. Yeah.
That's so exciting though. That's like my April event. Like I was there, but I wasn't working. My girls were bartending, but you get to see like the fruits of your labor come like full circle, and it's gonna be so exciting.
I'm so excited to like be eating dinner and like listening to the toasts and like watch my shooters shoot it and be like, I don't have to do anything.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
That's so awesome.
So it's like a weekend off for me too.
Yeah.
I have a session planned the day after because I have clients that live in New Hampshire that their wedding is going to be in like Derby, or I'm forgetting what town it's in, but in 2024. They booked me for 2024 and they live in New Hampshire, and I was like, hey, well, I do free engagement sessions and I'm already going to be out your way.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it then? Because then you don't have to pay for my travel. And they were like, yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, we're working out the details on that still, just because I haven't had time to be in the office to, like, send them, like, a ton of location options or anything like that. So I really need to check in with them today because it's Wednesday and the shoot is on Saturday. But they're very low-key, very chill. And, yeah, I'm excited to be, like, shooting out in different areas, too. Like,
oh my gosh,
I'm going to have...
I
have a wedding and an engagement session this weekend in New Hampshire. Like, that's my dream.
I know. Oh, New Hampshire's gorgeous.
Yeah.
We have a family campground, or we had a family campground. We sold it last year, which was so sad. They bought the campground the year before I was born, and that's where we got married, too.
Oh,
yeah.
Really? Like,
yeah.
It's actually like a campground?
Yeah, there's 99 campsites.
Wow.
No, actually, maybe more. 99 acres. There's more than 99 campsites.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it still running, but with different owners?
Yep, new owners.
What is it?
So it's called North Star Campground. It's in Newport, New Hampshire. So it's right outside of Sunapee. So we did like our rehearsal dinner in Sunapee. We did a dinner boat. It was so awesome.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a full running campground still.
That's cool.
So we'll go over there for the day. The new owners are amazing. His name's Chad. My grandfather ran the campground with his brother, and he wanted someone to come in to continue like the legacy, similar to how it was, in their own spin on it. And I think Chad's accomplishing that, which is so nice. But yeah, we have a small cabin. When I say small, literally, like, there's a shag rug carpet. My grandfather's never redone it, anything. But it's where I grew up, like, snowmobiling and stuff. So I'm bringing my kids there, and my husband and I, like, we never used to go in the summer because we would just go to the campground. So it'd be interesting to see the cabin in the summer. But yeah, we're excited. It'll be fun. I love New Hampshire.
Me
it's
too.
So beautiful.
Me too. I thought I wanted to move to New Hampshire.
Really?
Yeah. I might. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
don't leave me yet.
Well, I'm not anytime soon,
Okay.
Jan. Maybe like 5 years.
Okay. All right. It'll be on your 5-year plan. All right.
Yeah. We'll see. Alaska or New Hampshire. One of the two.
Oh my gosh. Total difference.
Well, not really though.
It does get really cold in New
Not
Hampshire.
Really. Yeah. Like, when I went to Alaska in February, and I went in February, so I didn't even go in like their prime season. Like, I went in like their, like rough season, I suppose. Like, nobody goes vacationing to Alaska in the dead of winter.
Except for you.
Except for me. And I loved it. And to like say that I loved it and fell in love with it and just like felt so comfortable and at ease and peace there in their hardest season. Like, I can't even imagine what it would be like in a good season. I guess it would be more populated. So we'll see. But still, there's less people in Alaska than there are in Fairfield County. Our entire county, there's more people than in Alaska.
See, my husband would like that. I would go crazy. I need to be around people.
I love it. It was the town that we stayed in was a lot like my town.
Right, you mentioned
and
that,
Easton, Weston, like this whole area where it's like 30 minutes of Trumbull, 30 minutes to the gas station.
Yeah.
We have like a tiny market and like that's it. That was what the town was that we stayed in, where it was like very rural and like there was a river that went across and we had to drive over like this huge bridge and like the mountains like just open up as you get into town.
Pictures. Oh my god, it was stunning.
Yeah, it was so nice. So.
All right, if Megan leaves, she's allowed to go to Alaska. I probably won't come visit, but
we'll have to do our podcast over Zoom.
I know, it'll be a Zoom podcast in the future.
No, but I'll always come back to Connecticut, I think, or just New England in general, because my parents are here and they want to retire to Maine. Okay. So they're going to be in the area.
I've been to Maine once.
Really? Yeah. I love Maine. Look. You can't see if you're not watching, but I'm drinking out of a cup that says the Maine dog Camden, and they named my dog Camden after the town that they want to retire to. Aww. So they love Maine.
They do love Maine. No, Maine's gorgeous too. All of New England. I love everything.
Me too.
But yeah, New Hampshire has a special piece in my heart for many reasons. But do you want to chat about yesterday, our content day?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So Deirdre and Misa are two lovely light and airy photographers that I'm friends with. And you just met Deirdre. She was a photographer at a wedding you were doing, right?
Yep, I met Deirdre. I had never met Misa before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was really fun to they had been planning this for, God, how long now?
they were probably planning it way before we jumped in.
Yeah.
I know that they've been, so to just explain a little bit, they're starting a styled shoot business together where they're going to be planning a bunch of mock wedding content days for photographers to buy tickets, vendors to get involved and get pictures of their businesses and everything with different model couples, dresses, like the whole shebang, jewelry, whole thing.
And also I'm going to jump in. If you have never done a content day as a business and you want to help grow your business, I highly, highly recommend content days because that's where Meghan and I met. We talk about that all the time, but it's also a way to network with other businesses. Mm-hmm. It's also a way to get amazing photos of your business because the photographers are going to capture your business in an unstressful environment
for free cheap.
You basically, you know, as my business, like I just did my supplies that we needed. We made real drinks because mm-hmm. I also feel like whatever you're doing as your business, you need to do it like you're at an actual event so that you capture it authentically and real. But just to jump in and say that if you haven't done it, I highly recommend. And if you don't know someone who's doing a styled shoot, do one on your own. Mm-hmm. Like get a few photographers to come in. And I hosted one last March, with an awesome event planner, Nadia, and it was so fun. And it's just a way to network with local vendors. It's a way to debrief a little bit. It's still a little stressful, but mm-hmm. debrief a little bit, and just have fun with vendors in a non-stressful environment.
It's like a wedding day that you can take your time on.
Yep. Yeah.
It's so fun. And so Deirdre and Misa are going to business together, and they're going to be doing these, I don't know, monthly or mm-hmm. something like that. Maybe not. I don't know. But they're wanting to get into it and do it at a bunch of different venues that are like hidden gems and put together like unique themes and things like that. So this was like their test project, like their baby project. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't open to other photographers, but you and I jumped in with some of the planning and like day of help and all of that. So it turned out really well. Like, mm-hmm. I know that they were stressed because it was their first one, but like at the end of the day, our galleries are amazing.
Oh my God, I cannot wait to see it.
Like they planned so much and put so much into like one mock wedding like content day. Like there's a ton going on mm-hmm. in the gallery that I have. And like things took a while and like it was a big venue too. So we were doing pictures inside in the house and I have to shout out the all venue. The way outside down this hill and like there was a lot of moving pieces and hard to communicate between like you at the tent versus we're in the bridal suite. Yeah. Like it was hard to keep all of the pieces together, but beautiful.
I feel like next time they need like walkie-talkies.
Yes, that's a great idea.
If a venue is like that big. I mean, we also didn't have cell phone service, so it's not like we could like call or text each other. Mm-hmm. But the venue was in East Haddam, Connecticut. It was Smith Farm Gardens. Thank you. Jinx. So if you have not checked that venue out, it is absolutely stunning. The owners are the sweetest humans alive. It was their old family property that they turned into a wedding venue. And I mean, they take care. We all had our shoes off. Well, you didn't, but Deirdre and her sister and myself at one point all had our shoes off because the grass was like amazing.
It was a great day. Beautiful weather. Like the sun was out, but it wasn't hot.
Yep.
There was a nice breeze and we were under like a huge white tent. Yep. And so like I was like worried that I was going to get really hot and sweaty and there all day. I got there, Deirdre and Misa were there at like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
I got there at 10, which means that I had to leave at like 8 a.m. And then we didn't wrap up. We had our last like part of the shoot after all the vendors had left at like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So I didn't get home till like midnight. It was like an over 12-hour day. And especially for them, oh my God, it was like a huge day for them. So I'm relaxing today. I'm in my sweats because Saturday and Sunday were busy. And then we had yesterday and Monday I had 2 shoots also. I didn't even talk about Monday. So anyway, but it was beautiful.
It was. And also I had Chick-fil-A for the first time.
I don't know how you had never had it before.
34 years. Well, I don't know how long Chick-fil-A's been around, but
I feel like they only started it like 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay. Here. It's always been down in the South, right?
Right. Here. Yeah. Our first one popped up like 5 years ago.
Okay. So I've been 5 years of...
It was good, right?
It was so good. The Chick-fil-A sauce was on point. Yeah. It was very, very delicious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was such a fun day, but they're tiring after. And I got home and I still had to... My husband actually went and got McDonald's for my kids, which I'm cringing about. He should have gotten Chick-fil-A. But it was a very late night for me too. I actually left around 5:30ish, and I came home till after 7.
We live far. I mean, we live on the coast, sort of, and East Haddam is also on the coast, but it's like across Connecticut. And Connecticut's not a big state at all, but still, it was like it was an hour and a half for me, and it was with the trailer. It was probably also an hour and a half for you, even though you're 30 minutes closer. Yep.
Yeah, it's a crazy day, but it's so worth it. It's just worth like the conversations. I met 2 florists that I hadn't met yet. Actually a few vendors that I've never met, and it was just like a really fun day. And I always look forward to those. I try to do like a few each season just to meet new people. But yeah, how's next month looking for you? Like, June is insane for me.
Yeah, me too. June, I thought October was my busiest month, but looking at the calendar, I actually think it's June.
Yeah. Are you getting a lot of last minute bookings recently? Are you more...
I get a lot of last minute inquiries, but I'm already booked, so... I don't
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, no, I guess it's different a lot that are like September 23rd.
True.
Like that,
I guess it's different because you're primarily doing weddings. Like I just got a call literally last week for less than a month away. He's planning a 50th for his wife, and it's smaller. It's like 50 people, but it's in June, and I'm already like really booked in June. But we're also going on our family yearly vacation. We go to Gloucester, Massachusetts each year. We do a Sunday to a Thursday, and it's crazy that I plop it right into like my first busiest month of the season, but I feel like I need it. Yeah.
You're going to definitely
And I talked about this on a prior episode about bringing my laptop with me, which I did last year. And I realized after the first day that we talked about it with the episode with Ellie, which just came out, and I'm not bringing my laptop this year.
Good.
And I'm going to not do any work. I'm going to make sure that I tell any June clients who are the week after that I'm going to be away. And I think it's just very important to communicate with your clients, have a good out of office on, tell them, say it in your out of office that you are traveling with your family.
Apologies if there was a break in the episode for a second. My camera started overheating, and then we realized that our podcast recorder was maybe not recording sound. So if in editing that didn't make any sense to you, I'm so sorry. We are both exhausted.
We told you we were having a week.
We're just going to roll with the punches. So I don't know where we left off or what even was recorded last. So the last thing that I wanted to chat about, we'll just start over, is a networking event that I'm putting on. Did you hear about it? Did you see it on Instagram?
I did. I'm so excited to hear more though.
Thank you. You inspired me because you had that event in April of different event vendors like in one space, and it was 4 vendors. It was open to the public, but it wasn't like a bridal expo or anything. Like you didn't have a target audience. It was just like, we're event vendors, we're food trucks, we're florists, we're just people, entrepreneurs, own businesses, a lot of women doing our own thing. And I've had an idea for a networking event for photographers in the back of my mind for a long time, but it's just been in my mind. And I don't know, after going to your event, I was like, I should really do it. I should really do it. And then saying it out loud, because it was always just in my head, but like writing it down on paper, saying it out loud to somebody, I was like, yeah, this is definitely going to happen. And then I reached out to one of my good friends, Jess, who I keep mentioning.
Shout out to Jess.
And you introduced us, actually.
Oh my God, what a full circle.
I know.
Oh my God, my heart.
Yeah, I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I have this idea. Do you like it? Like, do you have any feedback for me? And she was so on board, had so many ideas that we're just doing it together. And
I love it.
It has really been polished a lot thanks to her. I had a lot of ideas for it, but they were a little bit scattered and not really like in the same direction. It was kind of a little scrambled, and she helped me like narrow things down a lot and helped me make a lot of great decisions. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, we're partners in this, like for sure. Like you're not buying a ticket, like you're not just helping me out, like you and I are partners in this. So what it's all about, it's a networking event for photographers by me and Jess photographers. And it is a networking event and a headshot swap. So it's not a styled shoot. It's not a content day. There are no models. There's no like dresses or outfits or like things like that. It's just a headshot swap because I like to meet photographers for coffee a lot. And especially trying to find new second shooters and things like that, I want to be able to test out their photos before they shoot for me for a client. And so it's also a great opportunity to get new headshots for your business. So I usually go out to coffee with somebody, we swap SD cards, take pictures of each other, take our own SD cards home. So I go home with the pictures of myself that they took and vice versa. And I am running out of time to do that in my business now because like we just talked about, we're super busy and it's getting really hard for me to make time for things like that. And I've just been feeling like I wish I could do this like all in one day, like everybody I want to meet with, because I have like so many people that I've been like chatting with online and new Instagram friends or people that have just moved to town, and I'm like, we should definitely meet up for coffee, and it's like I don't have time to meet up with coffee with like 50 people. So I was like, what if I just put everybody in one room, like did food and drinks, made setups for it, and called it a day, and then they would be able to network with each other too, and it wouldn't just be about me networking with other people. It would be with people networking with each other, finding second shooters for each other, referrals for each other. If somebody is like pregnant and wants a maternity shoot, they're going to find somebody there. Or if like they want a new family photographer for their family, they can figure that out there. So that's the idea. Sorry, there's a bee. There's a bee like I already took 2 bees out of here this morning. Yeah.
It's a big one, not gonna lie.
It's a honeybee. I think we'll be okay. But it's between the curtain and the window, so it's like trying to get out. But we'll just let him suffer for a little while. And then like 10 more minutes and we'll wrap up. Okay, anyway. So it's going to be at 19 Main, June 29th. So it's in New Milford. So we're catering to like the Brewster, New York crowd, as well as like Hartford, Massachusetts. It's like a whole area. Yeah. Whoever wants to travel for it, really. There's no specifications or anything, but we are selling.
What was the time frame?
5 to 9.
Okay,
so drop your 9 to 5 and come hang out with us 5 to 9.
I love that. Oh my god, I love that.
But it's a come as you please kind of event. There's no structure to it. Like I didn't want to put together a timeline or like do anything spectacular. But I am really excited for the things that are going to be happening there. So we have 6 different stations for people to take their new headshots and swap pictures with each other. So some of them are stylized. We're going to do like a book corner. So we're going to like put hardcover, old timey, like yellowy books and mount them on like plywood and like make 2 walls out of it for like a corner. So you can like take pictures like playing with the books or like different backgrounds like CDs. We want to make like a mosaic of like CDs.
I love this.
Yeah, we're going to make a flower arch and we're doing everything like DIY. Okay. So we're getting all the flowers at like Trader Joe's and all of this stuff because we didn't want it to be competition based. And like having vendors involved would make it community, getting other people in it. But with the target audience being for photographers, we kind of felt that having other vendors there would turn it into more of like a competition with the networking, trying to be like the photographer to photograph this vendor the best or something. So we're not doing that. And we're going to figure out the food and drinks ourselves. We're going to do like an open bar, like serve yourself. And very easy like finger food kind of dinner, where you can like, pick up a plate, chat, walk around, mingle, pick up another plate, get a drink, do whatever you want. So we also have a silent auction. So we're putting together a silent auction with a bunch of different goodie bags that are themed for different areas. So we have one that goes into the trunk of your car with clear umbrellas.
Fun.
Yeah, clear umbrellas,
so
rain
the goodie
cover.
bags are all like photographer based, like essentials.
Yes, photography essentials.
Love.
It's going to be a silent auction, so people will be able to bid on them throughout the night.
Okay.
So it's come as you please kind of thing. So you can bid on it at the beginning of the night, or if you're not going to get there till 7, you can still bid on it because it won't end until like halfway, more towards the end of the event, so that there's still time for people to show up. But yeah, we have a kit for your desk with like a great like laptop cover and like SD card holder and different things that are photography essentials for like the different areas of your life where you need something. And then we are also doing a yard sale. So if you have old gear and equipment that you don't use anymore, tripods, lenses that you've outgrown, we can match you with a seller or match you with a buyer at the thing. So
That is so fun.
yeah, so we're going to be like, okay, the winner of this basket is so-and-so and
Yep.
so-and-so, and go through it and then be like, okay, silent auction. If you contacted us with your equipment, we're going to go through the list right now. We have Stacy with a Canon T6. Who's interested? And just like try to help them sell
I
it.
love that. Oh my God, that is so fun. So I think I talked about this a long time ago. If you don't, and similar to what I just said with the content days, if you don't have something that you want to go to or you want to join, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So have you seen something like this before? Or is this kind of like something that you've never seen?
I've seen things a little similar.
Okay.
There's a girl in, I don't remember what state it is. It's not near here.
Okay.
I think it's like in the Midwest somewhere. She does something it's kind of like a content day, but they're with models. It's kind of the same thing where like it's a photographer networking event.
Okay.
Where it's like just photographers, no other vendors, but they are taking pictures of models. They're not taking pictures of each other. And it's not like a night. It's like a week-long thing.
Okay.
Where they're going like to these really crazy locations.
I love how you just get it towards photographers because I agree. I feel like if you brought vendors involved, it would be like, I have to make sure I get pictures of this vendor and this, whatever. I love, this is so fun.
And that was all Jess's idea. Like I was stuck on like wanting food trucks. I was like, that's going to be such an easy way to not have to worry about catering. And we might be able to get like discounts or something to be able to like actually put on the event. And then Jess was like, I love it, but you're steering away of the purpose. She's like, the purpose is the photographers and swapping headshots. That's the point. It's getting a new picture of yourself taken, reaching out to other people, networking, opening up your shell a little bit. She's like, that's the point. And if you're adding in these other elements, you're going to draw away from it. So she's been really great with that. And even the silent auction too. Like I had a list of things that are like things that I would want to bid on in a silent auction, but they were individual items. And she was like, first of all, we don't have the budget for this. Yeah. Second of all, this is a little bit too chaotic. Third of all, let's do this instead. And I was like, done. You're amazing. You're amazing.
See, I truly feel like I'm dealing with this in my business right now too, because I have someone helping with my second trailer, and it's really hard to take that control and let it go to someone else. And when I did that event with Devin, like we were the perfect match. Like we bounce ideas off of each other. And I truly feel that if you want somebody to be successful, you need to get the right people on board. Yeah. And I'm like the pot calling the kettle black because I'm so bad at this. But this is a true testament. Like you had all these ideas, but just helped the ideas come together.
Oh, yeah.
And now you both get to shine together. And like, I know both of you personally, and I know that neither of you would ever step on each other's toes or try to outshine each other. And I think that's what makes it so perfect, because that's how Devin and I work together. Like neither of us were trying to outshine each other. We were literally a team. And if you can find that person in business where you can like be a teammate with, it goes so far.
No, that's exactly how I feel. Like anytime I have an idea about it, I text her immediately, and vice versa. Like she was at like a thrift store, a Goodwill or something, like picking up something for herself. And she was like, Megan, I saw a box of CDs. I asked the guy how much they were, and I told him what we were doing, and he gave them to me for free. And like things like that have just been falling into her lap, and we've just been communicating so well with each other where I'm like, okay, new ticket sold, another ticket sold. Then like we're just like any kind of update about it, we both know everything that's going on. Like we're both on the same page with everything. All of the emails with the venue, we're CCing each other on everything. So yeah, like I feel like we are delegating a little bit to each other. Like she covered the Amazon cart and I covered the venue, and like we're like splitting things up, but like we have a shared Google Doc, shared expense tracking. Like we are exactly on the same page with everything. And she's just such a sweetheart too. And she at the beginning like didn't want to be my partner on it, kind of. She was like, no, this is your thing and I just want to help. She's like, I just want to help, but I like it's yours. And she like didn't want to, like take any credit for anything. And I was like, Jess, this event is the way that it is now because of the suggestions that you've made. Like it would not be what it's going to be had you not helped. and taken my idea and created your own out of it. It's like, no. So,
but I feel like that's a true testament to how good of business owners you both are too. Like, you know that you need each other in different areas, because like us on this podcast, like, we are such different humans, but we come along in such a great way that we like blend with each other. And I feel like that's where you need to find your people in business. And I always say, like, entrepreneurship, you have to find your people. And if you don't find it, like, we're going to do a whole nother episode on, what do we call them? Internet friends?
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's so important to find friends. And these days, the internet is where you're going to find your friends. Yep. I mean, dating is on the internet too now, which has been for a long time. But I feel like if you just need to find your tribe. And if you can't find it in, a networking event, or find it online, it's fine. Like, send that weird DM to someone and be like, hey, I want to be your friend. I love what you do. I love what you put out to the universe. And I think we'd be a good match with each other. Yeah. And I think that that's a whole nother episode, but I love what you and Jess are doing. Yeah. It's so amazing.
And it can be scary. It can be hard to reach out to people and be like, hey, can we be friends? But if you are also the one that's active on your Instagram and active on your stories and talking like you're talking to a best friend on FaceTime, like, they're going to be the ones to reach out to you. Like, you might not have to reach out to anybody, or it might be mutual. Like, you might respond to their story and be like, haha, me too. And then they're going to do the same thing for you. So you don't always have to be the one to initiate things. If you are putting things out into the universe and you're on your stories a lot, or you start a podcast, or you start a networking event or something, people are going to approach you to be like, I want to be your friend, or let's hang out, or can we get coffee? Like, it doesn't have to be a scary thing. You can do the grunt work to put yourself out there by yourself, and somebody will find you instead of shaking their hand.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, just by you liking someone's post, you're communicating with them.
Yeah.
Like, that's your form of communication. You liked what they did. That's like saying good job in person.
Yeah.
In a different way. And actually, I never looked at it like that. But
that's true. It's like a little pat on the back.
Yeah. And like, you commenting on someone's post, think about it when you get a comment from someone, like how amazing that is and how rewarding it is, because it's like someone took the time to type out a little sentence and say something on your post. Right. So I hope you're doing the same for someone else. Like, I try not to go into social media, but I try, like, if someone comments on my stuff, I try to go and do the same on theirs. And like, there's only so many hours, but it goes a long way. It really does. It does. And that's how you build that relationship with people.
Yeah.
So to wrap up today's awesome episode, I had so much fun just chatting with you. We've never done this. I feel like it was like needed for this week. Like, I walked in today and we had a few topics that we wanted to talk about, but Megan was like, can we just talk today? I just need a buddy to talk to. And I was like, I'll be your buddy. I would love that. So I feel like, I hope this episode was valuable. It was really just to show that, again, we are humans behind our businesses, and it's okay to have an off week. We all have them. We have lots of them, especially during busy season. But I think it's all about how you come back from that, and how you come back from a challenging week, or a challenging event, or a challenging day.
And how you treat people during those stressful, busy times too.
Yep. Like, I could have came in and been like, no, Megan, like, we have an agenda. Like, we have a schedule.
Or
like,
canceled.
Yes. Which we've probably had to do a few times. Or you could have canceled because you weren't feeling it today.
But we're both still here.
We're here. We're here for you. But I just think it's so true. Like, I'm a firm believer, as you don't ever know what someone's going through. You just need to be kind to everyone. Even if you're having a really bad day and someone pisses you the hell off, like, it's okay. Take a deep breath, count to 10, like I tell my kids, go meditate. But it's also, oh my God. Also, side note, I just finished Firefly Lane. Have you ever watched it?
No.
It's about two best friends. I'm not going to give it away, but I literally bawled my eyes out, like sob crying, like bawled my eyes out last night.
Okay. What is it on?
Oh my God. It's just about two best friends and like their life, basically.
Is it on like Netflix or?
Netflix. Yeah. Yeah. Firefly Lane. If you want to cry, there's 2 seasons. Oh my God, I bawled. But I feel like I needed to bawl my eyes out. Like, I just needed a good cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't ever cry. Like, very rarely do I ever cry, especially about like a show, but I needed it.
Oh, I do.
Do you?
I'm emotional. I cry at almost every wedding I shoot, Jen.
Oh my God.
They'll like go through the toast, or do the first kiss, or like go through their, vows or something. And I'm like,
all right,
I've only met you once, but like, This is amazing.
All right, I have gotten teary-eyed and things like that, but yeah, this was a good cry moment. So next week, we will be airing, or 2 weeks. No, yeah, 2 weeks, because we just aired an episode last week. In 2 weeks, we'll be airing this episode.
Or I
just got really confused.
The last episode that went out was our interview with Ellie from Hair For You Clothing.
Yes.
Then will be this one.
Yes.
And then the following 2 weeks, because we're doing bi-weekly, we'll have another interview, our second interview with Anne from Rebel Daughter.
Yep.
And
then our next one we are excited to talk about. We are going to talk about how to know if entrepreneurship is right for you and how to go full-time with your side hustle.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of things to unpack there. We'll talk about like prior experience that we feel like would be beneficial to have, if you need a degree or not in what you're wanting to get into, how to take your side hustle to the next level and really put your whole time and energy into it. So for that episode, we'll be back, just the two of us, back on the couch.
Back on the couch with coffee and tea.
And then we have other interviews planned for the future as well. So
yes. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope our content is valuable to you guys, and
I hope it wasn't all over the place and that it made some kind of sense. You could hear it. But
yes, but we had a week.
you.
We had a week. So cheers.